What? Oh, I didn't quite know what happened there. Good evening and welcome to Christmas. No idea what happened there. My name is John. I'm your host, coming from the south coast of England, where it's apparently 10 degrees, which is quite tropical for January. Hi, Adrian. How are you? How are you doing? And tonight we'll be looking briefly back at the game at the San Siro on Tuesday night, discussing the bids that came in for Spurs and went. There you go. We've done it. And looking forward mostly to West Ham's Cup final on Sunday. And I'm saying evening to myself. That's good. There we go. And joining me tonight, all the way from Austria, HG, how are you?
I am from Austria. I'm all right. It's Friday night, and my home is still a building site, but yeah, it's Friday, so I'm happy.
Yeah, good. And JP from Melbourne. Oh, sorry, HG, go on.
Right.
HG, JP, HG, JP. What am I talking about? JP, it's been a bit chilly down in Melbourne, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm freezing. No, it was 37 degrees yesterday, 28 today. I'm not looking forward to ever walking outside again. So bring on winter. You can always put more clothes on.
And you're half asleep, aren't you? Overslept.
I did wake up all of 7 minutes ago, so sorry everyone who was waiting for us to start. That was my fault. The kids kept me up all last night. So.
And you had to put a nice cover on the YouTube show. So
I hadn't done my job this week.
Thank you very much.
I don't think I'm getting paid. There we go.
And now he's drinking his coffee. I'm going to ask him a question. David, Mr. Harris, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Great to be back.
Did you have a good day yesterday? Go out for some drinks after work?
I had a couple of Jack Daniels, yeah. Very nice.
Couple of Jack Daniels. Is this why when I woke up, well, not when I woke up, when I had a look at the run sheet this afternoon, it had all this stuff written in it.
Yeah.
Paul Blimey, the old China, welcome to the Friday night cheese room.
We're hoping to have a right Steffi this evening. It's only West Ham in their cup final. Can't wait, governor. Jenny Deals.
Yeah, I won't be doing that. Anyway, so normally caller ignores your run sheet, so you're quite used to that, aren't you? So HG,
I'm used to being ignored all the time. So yeah.
You're so bitter, aren't you? HG did a post-match instant reaction show with James on Tuesday night, Valentine. Lovely romantic evening you spent with my son there, HG.
It's the long hair that got me.
Yeah. So we very briefly will cover the AC Milan game, but not in depth because you did cover it on Tuesday. I just want to start off with, I think it's Wednesday, and we got news that Antonio Conte was going to stay in Italy, having seen his doctor, because it's felt that he needs more rest. So he put out this statement on his Insta. My great sense of responsibility towards the club, the players and the staff and the fans brought me to anticipate my comeback on the field. Sadly, I underestimated the procedure, which wasn't a routine operation, but sudden and serious emergency. My body has suffered my impatience, and now I am forced to stop until my entire recovery. Who knows me understands what a burden this is for me, but is necessary. Come on, you Spurs. HG, are we ever going to see Antonio Conte in the Tottenham home dugout again?
I like how you reference Tottenham home dugout as if he might come as an away manager.
Well, I just thought I'd cover it.
Yeah, no, and I do think we'll see him again in the managerial dugout. I mean that will be. I've heard rumours already that it's going to be hopefully for the AC Milan return leg, which is 2.5 weeks from now. So yeah, I do think it'll happen. I don't think that Conte wants to go out this way. As much as he might be planning to leave, I don't think it would be in this particular way.
Yeah. JP, are you surprised this has happened?
No, he came back way too early. And I think we were all probably more surprised how quickly he was back than this happening. So, no, not surprised. It does feel a little bit like there's the excuse building as to why he won't be here next season already, though, and we can all part amicably. But he'll be back this season, and then at the end of the season, we'll just call it quits and say, my health comes first and my family. I'm moving back to Italy.
You just jumped up in volume in my ears. I don't know if that was the same for you guys as well.
Same for
That
me.
was good. I liked it.
So did I, actually.
Yeah.
I'll talk back. Yeah.
Dave, what's your thoughts on Conte? And obviously, he clearly did come back too early. Is he still going to come back with us, do you think?
To answer your question, we will see him in the home dugout again when he does a tour of the stadium with his family, and Levy will charge him half price. So I've got no doubt about that. I think we will see him again. I think he'll be back for the Milan game. But we're in the end game now. This is it. And Twitter, which I'm a recent entrant to, has been alive this week with the return. Oh, sorry, actually, is alive this week with the return of Poch, the return of to save all of us from all our ills. Can't wait.
I'm just going to.
So one's yawning, and the other one's looking at his phone, and the other one's disappeared. Wow!
Oh no, you can't see it. I'm just putting your Twitter handle up on the on the YouTube comments so people can follow you, Dave. Because at the moment you're on 131 followers, so we need to get you up. Need to get your numbers up.
It's on the screen, John.
It's on the screen, John. And
oh yeah, of course it is. Oh.
And I'm grateful for you.
No, I put the link. They can click the link.
All right. I'm grateful for your efforts to get me up on a Saturday morning. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm not sure on Valentine's week that's a good thing, is it? Anyway, move along. HG, Phil is very concerned about another position for you. Is this going to be like every time we're going to have a different position?
Well, look, at some point when the room is done, I will have my kind of my Chris Cowling corner with the stuff behind me that's always there. No, it's the kitchen's a heap, and I don't want to show that. So you get the lovely white, freshly painted white wall behind me today. But next time, hopefully, it'll be a bit more interesting behind me, so you can look at that rather than me.
I hope that's worked, anyway. Okay,
He's still looking at the phone whilst you're talking. It's not just me.
Multitasking,
I keep on
David.
talking. All right.
I don't see. Do you remember whenever you watched Parkinson and he was interviewing the greats, was he like looking at his phone or reading the paper? I don't know. You tell me.
He was looking at the auto cue, but the cheese room doesn't go that far yet. Unfortunately, Daniel Levy's money to all of us hasn't made it enough for an auto cue for us all.
I've got an auto cue. It's how my monotonal. Yeah, that's how I keep going my monotonal. Yeah.
Lovely, indeed. I can see Antonio now in his smugglers veranda overlooking Lake Como on the mobile to Stellini, get Sanchez and Tanganga. We will come to our centre backs shortly because, when we're tilled down, that's after about 70 minutes, King, I reckon. That's the path of the course, isn't it, usually?
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, Terry. So, HG, let's do a very quick sort of summary of Tuesday. Went 1-0 down early, stupid goal to concede. Forster was unlucky. Kane did a pretty good job up front. The two in midfield were brilliant. Son, Kulusevski, Perisic were basically turd, weren't they? Does that cover it?
Again, Parkinson. When Parkinson asks a question, he doesn't answer the question. I'm just saying. Go,
let us do it as he does it himself. No, it's pretty fair. I mean, I don't think our front three were horrific, if I'm honest. I think, Son is Son, right? So we know what we're going to get there, which is next to nothing in this system. Kane was out-muscled by the defender. I mean, fouled a number of times, but again, if the referee doesn't give it, then what can you do? And I don't think Kulusevski was as bad as everyone's making out. I actually think the front three were relatively flexible in their positioning, which we haven't seen too much of. So it was just one of those games where they never looked like scoring and we never looked like scoring, but they managed to get one over the line before the game even started. It felt like. So I don't know. Hopefully it can be better, but Milan will do the same thing in the next game. They'll foul Kane and it'll be down to the ref to make sure that doesn't happen as much. But if they manage to keep Kane out of the game, there's not a lot we have to offer really.
Yeah. JP or David, have you seen much of the game, or did you manage to see it all? Or?
I watched it. I watched all of it. I would disagree. I thought the forward line was utterly woeful. I didn't think Kane had played well at all. And he was fouled a lot and he couldn't get into the game. But you've got to prepare for that. If you're the best player on a team, and and you happen to be the centre forward as well, you know that every game you're going to have someone right up your bum fouling you. So I just thought we were poor around the ground. Skipp and Sarr were great, but everyone else, there was nothing really to talk home about.
But how can you prepare for someone fouling you? If the ref doesn't give the foul, then there is no foul.
Look, it's not necessarily, and it's not necessarily Harry, but like if you know that if your only kind of plan to attack is get the ball to Harry, but he's going to be fouled every time, you've got to do something else. We didn't do something else, and it's not Harry needs something else. It's as a team we needed to have a plan B, and we didn't.
I mean, I can't help but think that we may have blown our best chance, actually, because I don't think they're very good. Well, I mean, we're not very good, obviously, but they're not exactly the European powerhouse of old at the moment. And, I thought Skipp and Sarr played really, really well. And it was great to see, they had a real, it was great to see them go in and not be overwhelmed by the experience. I thought Romero had a shocker on our goal. I think Romero has been poor this season. Along with a host of other people, and Kulusevski and Son were poor again. I know we'll get onto the Cockneys later, but I'd like to see some changes up top for the game on Sunday. But I don't think they're that good. I think their goalie's coming back for the second game, isn't it? And someone else.
I think there's a chance he will be back. Yeah, I mean, disappointed we didn't really test their keeper at all. He didn't look great, did he?
No.
HG. I looked up Romero's stats. Would it surprise you? So start off with this one. How many games do you think he played for Spurs before the World Cup? From the beginning of the season to the World Cup? Having a rough guess.
One.
How many did we play before the World Cup? Was it like 17 or something stupid?
Probably about 20 with all the cup games and stuff.
Yeah, okay. 16 league games, and then the Champions League ones. He missed the month before the World Cup, so I don't know, half, like 10.
So he played 13 games. JP, how many times was he booked in those 13 games?
Twice.
He was booked twice, and one of them was the last game against Sporting Lisbon. Since the World Cup, I'm trying to find where I've written this down. He's played 7 games and been booked 7 times. So I believe I think he got booked 3 times for Argentina in his last 3 games as well, in the World Cup possibly, or definitely 2. So since the World Cup, he's been he's reverted to old, which is quite worrying. He's now on 7 Premier League bookings. Now, given how bad we were last week without him, 3 more bookings, it doesn't seem very far away, HG.
No, it doesn't. But I guess I'll worry about it when we get there. I mean, it's probably going to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's probably going to happen. But like the last 3 games of last season, he did those and we won all 3. So I don't know. It's all about I think with Spurs, it's all really about what the front lot do. If the front 3 are working and keep the ball, then the defence have less to do. So I'm not like, and Romero is clearly our best defender, and some of those bookings were, I mean, very very much a booking. But I still feel like a couple of them he gets, and it's now the reputation's preceding him. They weren't bookings, but they get it anyway. But I don't know. It's one of those things with if defenders have to defend, they might give away bookings. I'm not so fussed about that at all.
Davo, what do you think's what changed with him?
Well, I think it's changed with him. I think it's a little bit of the fact that he got away with the Cucurella hair pull at Stamford Bridge, which means he's more of a watched man by referees. But the goal during the week, he got out thought by the player there. He's impetuous, and everyone says he's our best defender. Well, he hasn't got much competition in that regard, has he? He is like
so he still is the best defender then. Like you're arguing a point that you agree with.
But
I do that.
No buts. There's no buts there. Like yes, you agree, Davo. Just say it.
No,
he's our best defender.
I agree that he's our best defender, but cut. Yeah, but that's like saying Michael Jackson is the best one out of Jackson 5 because the rest of them are shit. So same thing.
If you put Romero of this year next to Davies and Dier of last year, he's not our best defender.
Ooh,
Can I
no,
throw
I
in
like
the
that.
king into this hypothetical? What about
No,
Danny
it's not,
Barnes-Flower?
I'm not
Can we
putting
throw him in as
different
well?
players in. I'm not putting different players in. I'm just saying, like, the drop-off that he's had this year, like, everyone has had the same drop-off. He's playing really badly, but everyone else next to him is as well. So he's still our best defender. He's just...
So my point was right, that he's our best defender.
The point is right, but he's playing terribly.
The way it's working, HG, is that your argument is flying down to the southern hemisphere, and we're trying to regurgitate it. Now, my response is feeble, but my fellow Australian, I thought that was a very good, almost Jedi mind trick. I liked the way he did that. Nice one.
So you're not in the next room then. You could just be, no. Okay.
No,
It's
I've
a
got
little bit
something.
bigger. The country's a little bit bigger than that.
No.
1-0 defeat. It's not the end of the world, is it, JP?
It's not, but you know exactly what they're going to do when they come to Spurs, and that's the thing we struggle most with, is put 10 men behind the ball and say, go on, then try and score. And I'm not confident of any game against any team when we have to try and break a team down like that. So wait and see how it goes. It's not the end of the world. We only need one, but it's going to be a challenge.
We need 2 to avoid extra time. But yeah.
Yeah, we need 2.
We really don't want to go penalties.
So I'm 28 or I'm 29. What is this tonight?
He's just got up.
We
Leave
need
him
one.
alone.
Oh no, we need 2. Well, yeah, if they score 2, we need 3. I don't want to put it out there.
We only need 1 to stop them putting 10 behind the ball. Was my point.
I understood that.
Thank you.
Okay. Dave, are we going to do it?
No, because we're shit. I mean, we are.
That is the analysis we need.
Well, I mean,
That's what people watch.
I know. I mean, I'm not doing my hopes for the cheese room person of the year. I get that, but at the end of the day, we're not playing very well. Our only chance could possibly be if Stellini's in charge and not Conte. But other than that, no.
HG?
Yeah, of course I think we can do it. Was the question whether
do you think we will do it? Not do you think we can?
I never think Spurs will win any game. What kind of a question is that? I'm a Spurs fan. Why on earth would I think that Spurs are going to win a game? Like, it doesn't matter who we're playing. I mean, who have we got next? West Ham? When's the cup game? I definitely think we'll lose the cup game. You can ask me that now or whatever, but I just... No,
it's a week Wednesday. It's the Wednesday after Chelsea.
Yes, look, Spurs could win 3-0, they could lose 3-0, but that's pretty much been the Spurs experience my entire life. So I'm quite okay with that. Like, it's normal.
Okay, fair enough.
Happy to talk.
Yeah, there was an account show on Wednesday night that Davo was gutted to miss, but he had to go to work. It serves you right for living down under, doesn't it? Really. But I actually thought, I was really impressed by Jack. Just saying.
I was impressed. I was impressed with Jack as well. I thought Jack was excellent on there.
We knew Steve can talk the hind legs off accounts, but I was really impressed by Jack's input. Anyway, so that is on our YouTube channel. So have a look at that account show if you want to be bored to tears with Death by PowerPoint.
If you want to watch Romanian TV from the 80s, watch the account show. You'll love it.
Kerry's agreeing Jack was good. Yeah, indeed.
Jack was very good.
Steve, you're always good, even when you've had no sleep and you got stuck in the San Siro to 11:30 at night. Anyway, and then what we can talk. Oh yeah, so we had this bid coming via the Financial Times, supposedly a bid of 3.1 million.
The Financial Times are going to buy us.
Financial Times are going to buy Spurs. Yeah, no, they reported it.
Are we going to run out in a pink strip with like print on? I think that would be quite cool.
What, like
it's
it didn't ever
better than the wetsuit for sure. So
correct.
I mean, it's a low bar, isn't it? It's really not a low bar. Oh God, I'm going to put this up, but they're going to take it down very quickly.
I can't. I'm not allowed to answer any questions.
Yeah, there you go. It's gone.
Sorry. No.
Davo will be doing his own account show in some point in the future on Davo's Twitter Spaces channel. Once he's worked out how to do it.
I'll only be doing it with a preset of questions beforehand, agreed by everyone, i.e. me.
What
was the question?
Oh, it's not really a question, is it? It's just there was this link of this buyout by this Iranian American.
The Iranian American.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I listened to
Would
Simon
it not be
Jordan.
American Iranian in alphabetical order?
I don't
No,
know.
it's not how they do it, is it? It's like, you're not an African American because it's in alphabetical order.
Oh, right,
Then-
okay, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Hang on. We're going somewhere. I'm not going there. I wasn't going there. Let's go back to the Financial Times. Sorry, I shut up.
So I listened to Simon Jordan on TalkSport, and he was saying, I think he's had words. Obviously, he does know Levy, although he's not his biggest fan. He does have contacts at Spurs, and he basically said that he was told 3.1 billion isn't even enough to get in the side door for a discussion, which I think we all knew. I can't see Enic. They don't seem to want to sell currently, so why would they entertain a bid when other clubs are going for maybe 4 or 5 billion HG?
Because I mean, the thing is, if they do want to sell, they will be entertaining bids. They'll want to know what they can get. Whether they turn it down or not is irrelevant. If you know at some point you're going to sell, and if you think that, if Liverpool are up for sale, and Man United are up for sale, and Chelsea have just been sold, it's a pretty good time. If you want to find a bidder for your club, then this might be the time to do it when everyone else is going. The idea of waiting an extra 3 years when maybe, who knows what will happen in 3 years, right? That doesn't make any sense to me. So if they really are going to sell at some point, then that point could be soon. But yeah, the money is not. Yeah, see, there you go. Just pay the money.
Just pay the money.
Yeah.
Show me the money.
You want to pay. But the thing is, if that's the buyout clause, then obviously it will be a loan deal first. 18 months with Daniel Levy still in charge, and then you actually get the club properly in summer 2024 or whatever. But no,
see if you get an NFL franchise, and if you do, then you can buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever it is, the full potential value of the club has not been realised yet, and I don't think they want to sell until that has been settled. And so, if they don't think the NFL is ever going to happen, then they might sell. But I suspect they think it will. I think it will. So they'll be around for a number of years yet.
I'm just going to come to that point. Oh, Dave, you've taken it down. Let me put it back up. Just going to come to this point. It has been announced this evening that Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani, I hope I pronounced that correctly, the chairman of one of Qatar's biggest banks, has confirmed his foundation will bid to buy Manchester United. The move comes ahead of the 10 p.m. GMT soft deadline. What's the difference? Does that mean if you miss it, we'll just allow it in later? Is that what a soft deadline is?
Is that 10 p.m. GMTV deadline? Was that
GMT.
Oh, sorry.
It's the second bid made after the one by, as Davo said, Sir Jim Radcliffe stated his interest last month. So there are 2 bids for Manchester United. So one of them's going to lose. So, like Spurs, will be the runners-up, as always, no doubt.
What about Liverpool, though? Who's bidding for them?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know when their deadline is.
The difference is with Man United that they're arguably a declining value asset at the moment, so it makes sense for that team, those owners to sell now, because to improve it, they have to invest a lot of capital in it. So,
yeah, I mean, Manchester United obviously is a much bigger brand, huge club, but their infrastructure is nowhere near Tottenham's. So they could improve the infrastructure quite significantly and improve the value of that club.
Meanwhile, we're not selling any. While we've still got real estate development on the table, we're not selling. While we've still got the NFL as a kind of distant possible.
You've got Dave salivating. You've talked about real estate now, and he's itching. He's getting...
Sorry, the electrodes just went again. But I mean, the thing is, this is sort of yin and yang of it, isn't it? Really, because we've got obviously great infrastructure with I'm looking forward to the cinema and the bowling alley, and but in terms of brand, compare it to Man United, we're nowhere near it, and the history of winning trophies in the last 22 years, nowhere near it. Whereas Chelsea, as I say, United have got a stadium they need to sort out and a training ground. They've got the brand and the trophies. We have got the infrastructure, but the brand's not as good. Chelsea have got the brand and the trophies, but they need a stadium, and Liverpool invented everything. Ergo, and as you said, John, to your point before, the timing of HC, one of you two said it in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the timing's right. It's great timing now. And we all know that Enic are really good at timing and maximising the opportunity. So we'll see what happens there.
So we're going to sign Louis Sarr, is that what you're saying?
Again. LS3, 2, whatever.
Incoming Romelu Lukaku.
Can I just ask a question? Is there not going to be a laser quest? Because surely you've got to have a laser quest.
Well, I think they should have a panic room for Davison Sanchez. He'd be good in that.
Oh, escape rooms. That's what they should do.
Yeah. They call them panic rooms down here.
Maybe the Tunnel Club could be an escape room, Davo. Maybe that's the way forward.
Well, they'll just throw a lobster Mornay in the middle and see what happens. Nice one.
Like, can you leave the 21st century without a trophy? Off you go.
I think they call that Daniel Levy's office.
Sorry, go on, JP.
I was just saying, I think they've already got an escape room. It's called Daniel Levy's office.
The trapdoor. Come in, Antonio. How are you feeling? There we go.
Oh, Daniel's gone for it. Use the trophy cabinet. Oh.
Yeah.
So there we go. Yeah. Let's face it, we're stuck with Enic, and Dave's going to be moaning. I did ask Davo this question when the news of this bid came out. I said, Davo, what will you do if Spurs actually get bought?
And you say, well, I've got nothing to moan about. I've, bus drivers who can't brake properly, the recorded output of Robbie Williams, and no offence, HG, tofu. There you go. That's 3 things to talk about.
What's that got to do with me? I mean, I thought you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No offence. I'm respecting your love of. But this is what the cheese room's all about,
You've just got to know how to prepare it. That's all it is. If you eat it plain, I mean, my daughter eats it plain. That's pretty grim. But if you know how to do it, then.
Coming soon on the cheese room, HG's top 5 tofu recipes. Looking forward to the show.
Barbecue tofu is good, man. That's good.
See what he did then. He did a little German accent. Sorry, carry on.
Oh, Kerry says, careful what you wish for. Because that's right under whilst he strokes his white cat. So.
Yeah, exactly.
HG, you look like a hummus man. I mean, a lot of hummus. You're a big guy, aren't you? So
we do eat a lot of hummus.
So do we. And do you know what? I like hummus on my sausage as well. Let me tell you.
I'm not sure that's appropriate for this show. US owners Manchester United and Liverpool have realised the cost of maintaining those clubs is prohibitive. Okay.
So we'll just get some sports washers in instead, and that'll do.
Yeah, people who don't care what they can do with their money, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. So, God, can't make you redundant. We'll just chop your heads off. Anyway. Shall we discuss West Ham United? What have I got here? I'll get there. So, West Ham's run. They've actually, they're obviously they're near the bottom of the league, but they've turned it around a little bit recently. HG, they've 4 unbeaten, and they drew with Chelsea and Newcastle, which not to be sniffed at.
Yeah, I mean, scoring against Newcastle is difficult enough right now, so I suppose that's worth something. I remember watching that game, but I can't remember the goal, which is weird. But yeah, I mean, obviously the Derby game is a cup game against League One side, but still beating Everton, I suppose. Lampard was still there then, so that's probably why that happened. So yeah, I mean, the couple of the draws, they're good. They're difficult games. Newcastle away and Chelsea at home, and they didn't lose, which is probably what they would have expected. So I guess this counts as the high point of their season so far.
Well, it's always the high point of their season, isn't it? Davo, is this just a typical Spursy thing that we get a team as they're coming into a bit of form?
I mean, West Ham had their greatest season ever since they won the FA Cup final last season in 1980, when they got to the semi-final of the Europa and punched some foreign commentators at their home ground, which is funded by the government. So they've had a lot of injury problems, but this is their cup final, so they'll be right up for it.
So JP. Too many initials. JP, this is how they've played the last 2 games. They've played a 3-4-3. Go figure. How do you think that's going to end up against us?
man for man, I think even with our injuries, we can still go ahead against them and head to head against them in this formation. I always worry about West Ham. I don't know why, but we should do them. Antonio on the break will be a problem, but we should be able to do them.
Yeah. Okay. HG. Obviously, you like to say we play better against back four, but when we match up against teams 3-4-3,
I do think that, and obviously we've seen. It's good that Hojbjerg's coming back, but we've seen that really in a 3-4-3, Hojbjerg +1 only really works with Bentancur. So I'm a bit suspicious of how good we'll be on Sunday in that area. But it looks like West Ham play with a back five pretty much, and then they have their the front five. Paqueta's obviously the more attacking of the two in midfield, but I like West Ham strikers. I think Benrahma's a good player. I think Bryan's a good player. Antonio scores against us pretty much every game. So they do have talent. And if Moyes has found a formation that seems to work for them, and that if switching to the five has done that, then it will be a very, very tough game. I know it's their cup final, but I look at those players and I wonder if they really understand that. Some of them might, but the days of Noble running around like an idiot are gone, which is probably a bad thing for Spurs too. But I don't know. Emerson versus Emerson down the wing would be fun.
Yeah. As Adrian said, go on, JP.
I was going to say, do we actually think it's going to be Emerson versus Emerson? Or does Porro come back in for this?
Nah.
I want to see Porro play. I do.
You have to play Porro. You can't have bought him, had one bad game, and then sit him out for the rest of the season.
No,
What do you think, Davo?
Well, he'll have the reliable and stable QT Romero next to him, so I'd have Porro playing. But I got to take my hat off to Emerson. I think Emerson's is awful, but the last few games, Fulham, City, and in the San Siro, I thought he did all right. Actually, I think he's done all right, and he did another look away pass. Did you notice it at the San Siro?
Yes.
I did. He did it again, but this time he executed it correctly. So I'd have Porro. Go.
I'm not sure Porro will start.
No, I don't know. He needs to. These are the games that we're going to need him. I don't count West Ham at home as being one of those big games where you want your better defensive players. Do you know what I mean? I just don't. I understand it's a big game for them, but for Spurs, it has to be. We're at home. We want to be attacking. We know what our crowd is like. All right, our crowd wants to see the team attack, and if we get Porro into positions, or if we get her right back into positions, and we see Emerson struggle, then everyone's going to want to see Porro there. So the Chelsea game next week, Emerson will start that. I could see that happening for sure. But I just think West Ham at home, if Porro's not considered good enough for those games, when is he going to play? If you want to have wing backs that can go forward and actually attack and cross the ball with accuracy, and you're less worried about their defensive output, well, these are the games you want to see it, surely.
Yeah. Okay. Up front, should he change anything, JP?
He should, but he won't. If we're going to play the 3-4-3, I'd probably like to see. I'm going blank. I've only just woken up.
Richarlison or Danjuma?
Danjuma, thank you. I'd probably like to see Danjuma on the left. I don't want to see Richarlison on the right, so I'd start Danjuma. And if we're winning, give Richarlison to go up top for Kane, but that's not going to happen. So I'm going to go with Danjuma.
No.
I'd like to see Kulusevski and Son dropped as a message to all and sundry that if you don't perform, you get dropped. That's what a healthy squad does in relation to challenging at the top of the table. We know it won't happen, but I'd like to see that happen. I'd even think about, Perisic is not playing very well, and I appreciate that. Sessegnon's banjo string hamstrings have gone again. So, there's even the school of thought. You could put Emerson on the left as an inverted one of them left wing backs and have Porro on the right, and off you go.
Yeah. HG, what's your view on the Perisic situation at the moment?
I mean, like, to me, if Perisic doesn't play, then you put Davies out there. And I understand that Davies isn't great going forward, but I'd still rather see him out there than anyone inverted. That's just who I am. I like to have left footers down the left, unless they are really effective in playing and cutting inside and shooting, then which we don't really have anyone who seems to be capable of doing that. Son can at times, but hasn't done it this season. I just want, I want to see left footers, even if it's just to hug the touchline and provide the width and, make West Ham defend the whole pitch rather than just certain areas. But I think my front three would be Richarlison, Kulusevski and Kane. But what I want to see more than anything is that those three switch. I don't want Kane just hogging the middle, and I don't want Kulusevski. I think if the three of them switch positions more often, then you're going to get more joy. It's going to be much easier to create gaps for other people to run into or to create confusion. Harry Kane obviously doesn't have the ability down the wings that maybe the other two have, but if he's just holding the ball up, I don't think it really matters too much. If he's can you put up the West Ham defenders again, John? The West Ham team?
Yes.
Please.
Calvin Martin, Ray Stewart.
Yeah. So someone has said that Aguerd is possibly out, and he got subbed in the last game.
But if you look at those three, Tilos Kera is probably the smallest of those three, right? I don't think Aguerd's huge either, but if Kane was to drop onto that side, then you could have Richarlison in the middle up against Ogbonna and Kulusevski there. Or if you switch it around. The last thing, defenders will make it very easy, or they'll find it very easy if you just stand in front of them and say, "Pass me the ball." So I think there needs to be some more kind of interchanging between the three of them, but. That's really all I would do. I want to see Richarlison start, but I think Richarlison is better down the middle, and so if we can have that at times, then great, let's do that. But I think that when we were really good and we had Dele, Kane, and Eriksen, there was lots of interchanging then, and we need to start doing that more.
Yeah. Okay. Paqueta came off after 14 minutes in the game against Chelsea. And Souček came on.
It'd be Souček, won't it? Yeah.
And then Ben Johnson came on for Aguerd. But obviously he's Ledley King's cousin, I believe. Johnson is. Shame we missed out on him because he looks quite a talented defender. Robert wants us to stop the flow of dirty oil money to the Premier League. Fair enough. He didn't need to shout it.
We've got to do it tonight, have we? I'm busy. I don't know what JP's doing.
I've got a shovel in the backyard. We can go and fix this later, Dave.
Okay. Sweet.
Can you just turn there's one of those big tap wheel things, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like that? Yeah, all right. We'll do that, Robert.
We'll just go get some plumbing tape and a rubber pipe and we'll fix it up,
It's all right. King Hoddle's all over it. He's got it sorted.
There you go. Afternoon off. What do you want to do, Dave?
Stop the flow of dirty oil money to the Premier League. That's what I'm doing this weekend.
Right. HG, back to the football.
I think you made his point.
Okay. Daddy Sarr will put rice crackers in a spliff.
I definitely want Sarr. I want Sarr over Skipp. As well as Skipp played, I want Sarr. I think we talked about this before. I think Sarr has the bigger ceiling of the two. I think Skipp is really good. There's no doubt about that. But I want Sarr. Sarr is that kind of player where right now I think he's quite comfortable sitting at the base of midfield, keeping things. Really just keeping things simple. But I think that if that allows Hojbjerg to get forward more, then great. But over time, I think Sarr will be able to play really well anywhere in midfield, and that's what we want to see. So I'd rather see that happening.
Could Sarr be our first young signing for relatively little money to actually succeed?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, JP?
I was going to say, I'd be more comfortable saying Skipp and Sarr playing together than I would Skipp and Hojbjerg. I just don't think it has the right balance, that combination.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, Hojbjerg's going to come back in. There's no doubt about that. So I think you're right. I think it'll be Sarr starting the game. I think he definitely looks the player that we hoped we signed. Actually, probably better because I think a lot of the time he played further forward, didn't he? At, where was he? Mets.
Mets.
HG.
I mean, Mets they played in a 3, and so he was one of the 3, and he had a bit more responsibility to go forward. But he didn't score that many goals for Mets, and I still think he's only 20. I don't think goals are necessarily, they should be part of his game right now. If he can contribute, then great. But no, look, I still think that the best system we have would involve playing all 3 of them, if I'm honest. Because it would allow the wing backs to concentrate on attacking, which is what they're best at. You could play Porro, you could play Perisic, and you could have a front 4 then really, like with the 2 wingers down there, and then Kane plus 1. I actually think Kane and Richarlison would work pretty well, but obviously Kane and Son has had that partnership for a long time. But it's about getting people in areas where they can do damage, and the 3-5-2 I still think allows that more than anything else. I don't think we're going to change it, and I love Kulusevski as a player, but if you had Sarr sitting kind of in front of the back 3 and Hojbjerg and Skipp either side of him being able to go forward and engage and do all the things you want midfielders to do, I think we'd have a better chance of winning games. But I feel like every single team kind of lives and dies by its midfield. You know, it's rare that you can win games regularly if you don't have a functioning midfield.
Before we come on to the question that was just put up, which I'll bring back from Daniel, there's 92 people watching and only 33 likes, which is not a great ratio at all. Call will be on our back in no time. Please do click the like button. It doesn't cost you everything. Just a little thumbs up. Thank you very much. Daniel's question, I'm going to ask JP, is Sarr's stock higher than Bissouma's? I mean, Bissouma's injured, so it's a bit of a... But if Bissouma was fit, is his stock higher, do you think, JP?
Not with Conte, but based on what we've seen, I don't think there's much difference between the two right now. Like, I'm not fussed kind of either way. Conte will pick Bissouma if Bissouma's fit over Sarr just based on experience. In the Premier League, Bissouma has more stock based on what he's done with Brighton, if we were looking to sell one of them. But if you were to talk to like Spurs fans watching Tottenham play at the minute, I think most of us wouldn't be fussed if Sarr was starting over Bissouma.
Dave?
Well, it depends where Bissouma keeps his OXO cubes, because if it's quite high up in the kitchen, then his stock will be higher.
I'm just going to remove Dave from the stream.
Sorry about that.
Your dad would be proud, Davo. Your dad would be very proud.
Yeah, my dad would be proud of my ability to come out with meaningless, trivial nonsense and shit jokes. The apple certainly didn't fall far from the tree. God bless him. Anyway, I really, as I said, I'm like amazed. This is possibly the first signing since Delhi, where we took a punt on a young player, that he might prove to be good. Again, I talk HG yawns, and I'm joking. Anyway, look, I like him, but I really like Bissouma because I was really, really excited when we bought him. Him, Richarlison, and Perisic were the ones that I was really excited about. And so it may well be that Bissouma's better in a midfield 3, which under Poch next season, that may happen.
I mean, to be fair, like, we look back at Bissouma, I feel like Brighton usually played 3-4-3, but the 2 attacking midfielders would have been, players that liked to drop back into midfield. People like Pascal Gross. Do you know what I mean? They weren't necessarily attackers playing on the edge. They were number 10s, and that's what Spurs haven't done. So I think that's the key thing. Like with the system that we have and the players that we have, then he needs to have lots of midfielders around him. I do think that with Bissouma. That doesn't mean he's a bad player, but I just think that you're going to see the best of him when he's got lots of passing options. And our midfielders don't tend to have many passing options. There's usually out to the wing backs or back to the centre backs. So it's I think that's why he doesn't look as good.
But obviously, we're not going to play 3-5-2 now because we've only got 3 midfielders, and that would be madness to play all 3. So we're rotating 3 midfielders for the rest of the season, really.
But based on the logic that goes into our squad selection, sometimes we probably will see that.
And then watch them all come together for one ball and knock each other out, and then they're out for the next 3 games. So that would be Spurs.
We end up with a midfield of Harvey White. Oh no, he's on loan as well.
Yeah, we'll have Sanchez, Tanganga, and Kane in midfield, won't we, or something like that?
Yeah.
So, Dave, we got some feedback about the joke. Caller particularly liked it, I think.
I will.
Kerry, obviously standard. Kerry always likes the jokes. You'll be. I mean, that's a proud moment. Such a dad joke. That's
It's
why
a
you're
proud
here.
moment. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. King, the Cheese Room Comedy Podcast. That's why we're here. No other reason. Not for the football.
So
And we're
people
being
can laugh
paid
at
by
us.
Enic. We're being paid by Enic.
Right.
Paid
Yeah,
by
well,
Enic
you are
to
the
do
chairman
most
of the Cheese Room Enic Out Society, aren't you?
Yeah, chairman,
Yeah,
secretary, president, CEO, a lot.
yeah.
You
Uh,
you
can't-
organise a protest are you going to organise a protest by the Harbour Bridge, Davo?
Yeah, after me and you have stopped that oil pipe going into the Premier League, I'm going to meet you we'll have a few beers at the Opera Bar, and then we'll do the protest. You can take the pictures because you may not be in the gap, which is fine, but I'll have my placard.
Yeah,
To be fair, if you did that, you'd probably get more coverage than the actual protest that apparently happened. I don't know when that was. So, Sydney Harbour Bridge behind you, budgie smugglers. That's it. We've
What
got
about
the
if I did
image that will go
I
around the world.
could do a Banksy on the Opera House, just spray Enic out on the Opera House. That'd be good.
You'd get
Are
they'd
you
take away your
Banksy?
citizenship.
Oh shit! Sorry. No, I'm not.
He's
not
a
Banksy.
QPR fan. He's a QPR fan.
He's in massive attack. Anyway, move on.
So I'm just going to bring up. There's been quite a lot of comments about Mr. Devine. Craig saying that he played and scored tonight, so unlikely to be involved Saturday. King early on wrote this. Just watched the under-21s on the Everton channel. Devine impressed and was taken off after an hour. We should be seeing him in Sunday's match day squad. To me, HG, from what I've seen, they don't seem to think him as a central midfielder. They seem to think him more of as an attacking, almost like a Delhi position, the 10 position. Is that going to be one of the things that hamstrings him in the Conte system?
Yes. I mean, you can put those last 4 words in it. Sure, the Conte system. I don't know where he would play. I mean, it's one of those weird things. I read that we didn't loan him out because we wanted to keep him around for like homegrown purposes, which means they obviously see a future for him. But like homegrown purposes for what? The bloke, like, he's going to be homegrown no matter what. Club grown no matter what, because it's like 3 years before you're 21. He's going to make that. So it's. I think it can only be for a European squad that right now we still might not even need. But Devine clearly is probably the talent in that under-21 team. But like with all of those players that do really well at that level, they have to play senior football. I don't expect him to come. Like Scarlett's gone out, Parrott's gone out. None of them have really set the world alight, but then neither did Kane. So you don't know. But I would be very, very surprised if Devine took to senior football in the way that someone like Rooney did, or someone even Winks did. Winks didn't go out on loan and came in and suddenly was playing quite often. It's a weird one because I've seen Devine play live actually in the stadium live, and he's pretty good. But I didn't see anything to make me think, wow, this guy is a standout for his age. So it'll be interesting.
He did come on against Portsmouth for the last 2 minutes. I'm not sure he even touched the ball though, but just the fact that Conte put him on.
If you go back to the Marine game, I mean that's 2 years ago now, and he came on as 16, 17, scored a very good goal. A goal that made you think, okay, this kid does have something, and then he's not been around at all. And there have been occasions to bring him, even take him to flipping Pacos de Ferreira on the subs bench. Like those kind of games could have given an opportunity, and we just haven't seen it. So it's a weird one because Devine might have the mental talents to play at any level because he's not the biggest and he's not the strongest. So it is always going to be how he plays football with his brain and. Those kinds of players tend to do better as they get older because it shows up more,
Yeah. Any thoughts, JP, on them, Devine?
Look, I think he's a good player. We've seen talent from him. What I've seen of the 21s, he looks really good. He looks promising. But yeah, in this system, he's going to end up playing in either the Kulusevski or Sun role. And we've got plenty of options there. So we're not going to see him in this system really at all. And to your point, HG, I think this year was like his 3rd year or something to make him count as like a club homegrown or whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, the club grown only counts for European things, right? Which, okay, fine, we should have some kind of European football. But again, it's like so many years before a certain. But like I think you have to be at the club for 2 years before you count as being anything. Otherwise, you're just a foreigner in European thing. And I understand that if you play somewhere else, that doesn't count. But still, it's like the kid's 18. So like he can do 6 months at the end of next season and still become that. So it really does scream. We want to have him in the European squad next year. And I don't know. Like I think I would have preferred taking the risk and sending him out on loan. But I mean, it's done.
I think that was the plan, though. It was just the injury at the start of the season that kind of put that back, and they said, is it worth sending him out on loan to lose the potential of that for 6 weeks with football?
We've seen with flipping Harvey White. Like, had Harvey White been around, he'd be in every single matchday squad right now, right?
But he wouldn't play.
No, but he may not play, but if Sessegnon's out and you need another left wing back, I'd rather have Harvey White out there than playing Emerson Royal as an inverted one. Like, it's just like he would have been 2 players closer to playing, and in the midfield area where we've got so many and we don't play that often, like, you understand why he left on loan, but it's just I'm sure he's kicking himself because the kid's 21. I mean, he needs to play wherever, but he wants to play for Spurs.
Ivo. Caller's got it. We could recall Winky. I mean, we can't recall Winksy, but that would sort of. He'd be delighted if we got Winksy back, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think he gave an interview to Henry Winter in the Times this week. Did Winksy?
Oh, very highbrow.
Yeah. Mm.
What did he say?
Winksy?
Anything?
He said highbrow. He said very highbrow stuff. It's on the run sheet, but you're obviously ignoring it. But he.
I haven't got my other monitor in here. I've only got the laptop, so I can't see the run sheet on here.
Okay. Well, he basically the fans have taken to him. The report in the local newspaper Il Secolo XIX wrote, "The Englishman brings order and wisdom to Sampdoria's game." Winksy goes on to say, "Sorry, go on."
So that sounds like Romero being the best defender at the club. It's the famous tallest dwarf competition that we had last year. I've watched Sampdoria a little bit, and Winks has done fine. I mean, he's not amazing. He winks his winks, but yeah, their left back is a joy to watch because he just looks so uncouth and his legs are everywhere. But he seems to play every game, even though he looks ropey. But yeah, Craig will know. There you go. Craig knows more than me.
Yeah. So just to finish off the article, to quote Harold of Hemel Hempstead. The situation was clear. I told the club I wanted to go and play regularly. I wasn't just happy being on the bench and not getting minutes, Winks says. Every time I played, even if I did well, I would be out the next game. And it's really difficult to play your best football like that, especially with the caller crapping on about Oliver Skipp. Another Tuesday night five-a-side hero who thinks he knows it all. That was in the article.
Oh. Respect the run sheet, he says. Yeah, because Caller always does.
Yeah.
The Italian press called Winks the washing machine.
The washing machine.
Look, I mean, if we get if he continues to impress down there, we might get about 15, 20 million, 10, 15 million in the summer. That'll go towards
From who?
From someone.
No, he'll be on loan next year. If Sampdoria stay up, they'll loan him again. If they go down, we have to hope another Italian team will take him.
How long has he got left on his contract now?
1 year.
Next year.
Oh, really? Okay. Let me revise that valuation.
There's more chance of us doing a flipping Doherty or an Aurier to Winks and just saying, off you go, than getting any money for him.
Yeah. But obviously, it also depends on the new manager, whoever the new coach is.
Hojbjerg he's starting half of the games again.
But Barcelona like a free transfer right now, and obviously we know that Xavi, he'll want his Winks Iniesta to go and join him at Barca. The Winks is a decent player, he is, and Italian football probably suits him. There's no doubt about it. But I can't. He won't be long term at Spurs. Unless it's Poch that comes in and says, "I want you around." But Poch went out and bought Lo Celso and Ndombele to play ahead of Winks. So considering that all three of those could come back in the summer, I don't think there's a future for Winks at Spurs.
No.
There's more chance of Lo Celso
Even with
playing
Poch.
next season than Winks if Poch came back.
Yes.
Absolutely.
When Poch
And
comes back.
When Poch
And I,
comes back.
I mean, I think Villarreal will buy Lo Celso. I do. I think they found a fee that they'll be happy with, even though he's been injured for a number of months. I think that they'll want to do that, but like maybe he won't want to now that Emery's gone. I mean, it's a weird thing. Like I could imagine going to Villarreal and playing for Emery and thinking, okay, this is going to be a good fun time. But now he's gone. I'm not sure.
Could Aston Villa sign him? Could he go to
Yeah,
Villa?
he went to Aston
in
Villa.
that case?
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
Maybe I suppose, but I don't think Villa. I don't know. I mean, he's different to John McGinn and the other midfielders they have, but I suppose that would be an option. But I don't. Spurs would want more money for a start, and that might be the biggest no-go of anything else.
Through that. Oh, the Avery's off again, David. I'm going to just ask a question. David, who's going to write Wink's mind when he finally goes? Is it you or me, or are we going to collaborate on that one?
I think we should collaborate and get Caller to read out the questions because he loves them. I mean, it may well be that the Celso, Villarreal, Danjuma, Tottenham, that whole deal, there might be financial linkages of the whole thing, which is one of the reasons why it'd be a loan now and a commitment later because the Celso's injured. Just saying. It's like Levy. Love doing there's that big spreadsheet between Tottenham and Portsmouth and the Noughties, all these players going backwards and forwards. Could be the same thing.
Talking of that, did you hear Harry Redknapp being linked with the Leeds job this week?
They are desperate.
What about Jesse Marsch going to Southampton?
That's weird, isn't it? That is weird.
Yeah. I read that they've been tracking him for 7 years. And they wanted to be their manager, and they offered him a 6-month contract, which is why it hasn't happened. I mean, come on now. Like, who's running? Who's running Southampton? They're just awful decisions. But yeah, I don't know. Harry Redknapp will probably manage Southampton before he manages Leeds.
Would you be better off getting Sandra? What, Leeds or Southampton or both would be the question. Dave, are you at the zoo? No, it's just Australia.
He's just surrounded by birds all the time, you know, Dave.
Hey,
They're
they
all
love
chirping away.
I'm just on Southampton's website, but sorry.
Who's Tottenham?
There you go. Today, David.
I love the goodies. That's a reference for JP. I love the goodies. They were great.
Yeah. JP's got no idea, have you? No,
well,
not at all.
I think the Enic out demonstrations have dissipated because we've now got some of our sponsors back in. Good to see. And we're driven away by the Enic out. So, you know.
Minchi.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Here we go. De Zerbi is flavour of the month. Barely managed 5 months at Brighton. Okay.
Well, then he's flavour of 5 months then, isn't he?
Well, yes, indeed. David.
Makes you think that it's Brighton, not the manager, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but he's got them scoring goals, which they weren't doing under Potter. I mean, that's obviously a massive part of the football. So, De Zerbi was highly rated when he was in Italian football, and he went to Shakhtar because that was probably the next stage. He could get regular Champions League football and show himself to be decent at that level. And then obviously the war happened, and so that went down the tubes. But De Zerbi was a really good appointment for Brighton because he was probably better than that level. But it's like everyone wants to manage in the Premier League. Everyone wants to play in the Premier League, and so when a job like Brighton comes up, again, it's like very, very Brendan Rodgers. Like the players are there, the setup is there. You come in and you don't have to do too much to change anything. So, yeah, De Zerbi will ride that, and then I guess we'll see in a year or two when they'll sell McAllister in the summer because he'll want to go, and so there'll be a bunch of changes at Brighton, and we'll see how he does next year. But yeah, it feels right. It's if we went for him this summer, it would be still a massive risk.
I think McAllister would go to Liverpool, wouldn't he? That'd be a natural fit.
Yeah. Any midfielder will look at Liverpool and say, "Yeah, I want to go there." I mean, really, because centre back they've got Konate and Van Dijk's obviously aging, but if you're a midfielder and you want to go to a big side, then Liverpool is the place to go. Klopp doesn't look like he's going to get bored anytime soon.
No.
So that would be the concern. Like if I was a player, I'd go to Liverpool as long as Klopp stayed. But like I'd have it in my contract that if the manager goes, I want a release clause. I want to get out as well, just because managers seem to be the big difference. I mean, maybe it's weird of me to think this, but managers are what puts you over the line, not players.
Like Poch.
Yeah, I mean, King Hoddle saying De Zerbi would have echoes of appointing Poch, which is a good point, but that was 9 years ago. Do we want to start this cycle off again? But then we have tried Mourinho and Conte, two proven winners, and that hasn't worked either, JP.
We have to start the cycle again. We're not starting from the same basis point as we were when we appointed Poch, so it's not going to be those lows, but it is a rebuild. There's no kind of two ways about it. Like, we can't go. Who do we go if we want to win straight away? Who do we go to after Conte?
Tuchel.
I don't think that changes much either, though. So
Tuchel is the manager that has won the most that would be available. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to, right? Like we've seen Levy do that a lot. He'll pick the manager that's got the biggest name or the best resume, as the Americans would say. But I think that like if you look at the better managers we've had under Levy, they've all been like the unknown, the second choices, the ones that we weren't really too keen on. That Yol was one of those. Pochettino was one of those. Like you almost hope that someone like that, he would have learned, maybe go for someone who wants to build his reputation with Spurs, even if it means he then jumps ship 4 or 5 years down the line. I'd still take that over someone who wants to jump ship 18 months later.
Yeah, but maybe there's a little bit of a linkage with that with Kane, because obviously Kane is such an important presence at the club that he goes. I'm sure that he goes to Kane a lot and says, right, well, if I get so and so in, get you the trophy in your career and you'll be happy. But now that changes because Kane's got 1 year left.
Yeah.
Also, how many times can you say that? We're getting Mourinho in, we're getting Conte in, we're getting Nuno in. Like at some point, you could get flipping. I don't know. Klopp could come. I don't think that changes much for Kane at this point. I think he just goes whatever. Maybe Klopp. I don't know.
Maybe with this tifo celebrating Kane on the weekend, that's when he signs his new contract on the pitch in the centre circle.
Well, like Brian Robson and Ron Atkinson back in 1981, yeah?
Yeah,
okay. We have to wait for our Qatari owners for that. We've got to wait for our Qatari owners for that and do a Neymar and Mbappe special.
That's right.
I mean, Phil's suggesting maybe company. Maybe a bit early. Cameron's got your favourite there, JP, Postecoglou.
Do me a favour.
Yeah, you love it, don't you?
Postecoglou will be in the Premier League in 2 years, but it probably won't be at Spurs.
What about Michael Carrick? Doing a good job?
Yeah.
Knows the club?
I mean, there are just levels of punt available. I mean, that's
how true. How very true.
It all comes down to really what happens with Paratici. I think I'm definitely assuming his ban's going to get pushed across UEFA, so he won't be with us much longer, and it would depend on who is brought in to replace him. I think I've read today we've been linked with somebody from Spain as a technical director or sporting director, whatever the role is.
But the thing is, like, wouldn't you just have your son do it? I mean, it's one of those things, like, how are they going to stop him from being involved? I don't understand that. How can they say, you are banned from what? Picking up the phone? It just seems...
He probably couldn't.
Seems unworkable.
Yeah, but if we get found out, we'll get sanctions from UEFA for doing it. So we'll get into trouble ourselves. So we shouldn't.
I am worried about the summer because Paratici's likely going to be gone, and then Conte's. I think we all think he's probably going to go as well. So it feels like we're going to be in crisis mode again, and we're just going to go, okay, Poch is safe, bring him back.
Who's the first person that's going to say? Who's the first one that's going to say it's a big summer at Tottenham coming up? It's a big summer, our 22nd big summer in a row.
Dave, it depends if you write it in the run sheet for next time Caller's on.
It's just a big summer. We should get branded cheese room t-shirts. It's a big summer, and we go around.
Don't get Franco back on the t-shirts again. My goodness. I'll tell you what we haven't done. We haven't predicted our scores for Spurs West Ham. Should we do that now? Going back a bit.
Yes, shall we?
Yes. David, you start us off.
2-1 Tottenham.
JP.
3-0 Tottenham.
Ooh.
HG.
3-all. Spurs will be 3-0 up in injury time and somehow throw it away. A couple of Davinson Sanchez own goals.
We're recalling Winks then.
Yeah. 2-1 seems the obvious choice because we're not good enough to keep a clean sheet, and you hope that we'll score and win the game. But honestly, their last 2 results have been 1-all, right? I think we'll see another 1-all.
I've got a horrible feeling we've got a 1-all coming. Really horrible feeling.
Have you got any other fixtures for the weekend? Have you got any other fixtures?
I haven't. So I'm going to type them in the comments and then put them up. So I'm going to start. I've just done this one. Is it going to come up? There we go. Yep, going to start off with Villa v the Goons. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Arsenal. HG.
I mean, I watched them play against City, and they were pretty, but nothing else. And Villa, you saw what Villa did to us when they beat us at Spurs. I don't know. I think a draw maybe. Again, another 1-all. Villa will score against Arsenal, and I'm just not sure if Arsenal have the, if they go out and get the 2 or 3 that they need to do it. So I'm going to say a draw.
Dave?
1-0 Villa. The revenge of Emery.
JP? JP?
Positive vibes worked for me last time I was on, so 1-0 Villa.
Yeah, I think the Goons will win there, unfortunately. Hopefully their bad times will keep going. This hasn't quite worked. I tried to do 3 games in one, but when I typed it in, it was one after the other, but it hasn't worked on there.
So British Bulldog or something?
Brentford Palace, HG.
Well, Brentford versus Palace Brighton would be a much more interesting game. Palace and Brighton on the same side, just like Fulham Chelsea on the same side. Brentford Palace home win. Palace are ropey. They are the obvious choice to become the team that sinks. So I think Brentford will win that.
Dave?
I'm going to put some money on Tony scoring the winner. 1-0 Brentford.
Did he tell you to do that?
Trips told me to put a lump on it.
Okay, by WhatsApp. JP?
Yeah, Brentford will win this. Yeah.
I think Brentford 3-0. I'm going to go for.
Ooh.
So, Brighton against Flum. HG.
Didn't they play each other recently? I feel like the other game must have been not that long ago. I don't think Fulham are that great, if I'm honest. But Brighton, they seem to be finding results somehow. I don't think De Zerbi's changed a lot, but it's one of those games. Yeah, home win. I'll go with Brighton.
Dave?
I'm thinking of dumping Mitrovic for my fantasy team because he's done nothing in recent
He'll
weeks.
score then.
Yeah, he'll score a hat-trick and stop the oil money pouring into the Premier League at the same time. I'm going Brighton 2-0.
JP?
Just because you've jinxed it now, Davo, I'm going to go 1-1, Mitrovic to score on the 90th.
Yeah, probably.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Brighton on that one, I think. Where's that next one? Chelsea against the Saints.
Ooh.
HG.
And Southampton are awful. I know they've got rid of Nathan Jones, but they don't have a manager. It's got to be a home win. If I was going to bet money, that's where it would go. I don't want it to happen, but yeah, home win.
I heard a rumor that Nathan Jones is going back to Luton because he's been gone too long. I'm going Chelsea 5-0.
I heard a rumour.
That's right. That's 2 Bananarama songs in the same joke. Thank you. Sorry, JP.
You can leave now, Dave. You're done for the evening. You're just JP.
I'm off to the Opera House. I told you.
Okay. JP.
Thanks, Karen.
Chelsea 2-0.
I'm going to go 3-0, I think, to Chelsea. Okay. Next, we have Everton against Leeds United. There we go.
I like Leeds. I know they don't have a manager. I guess you have to go with Everton, but it'll be a boring game. I mean, like, as you know, but 0-0, nothing will happen. Nobody will score. 0-0. Oh look, see, other people think the same.
David?
You know our good friend Craig, who's on here as a host and a contributor, and like when he broadcasts lives from his conservatory, which is dodgy planning permission. I think he's a bit of a voice alike to Sean Dyche. He's got that kind of timbre in his voice that reminds me of Sean Dyche. Lee, I think Everton will win 2-0.
Well, because Craig's got a voice like him.
That's
the reasoning.
Yeah, that's my reasoning.
Okay, right. JP?
0-0.
Oh,
0-0. Okay. I'm going to go 1-0 to Everton on that one.
I mean, that game could finish 3-0 and nobody would find it weird. Maybe Everton scoring 3 goals, but yeah, it's a toss. It's a toss of a coin. You'd think Everton with a proper manager have a better chance now, but draw.
They could have scored 3 against Arsenal easily.
Yeah, but they didn't. That's the point. They didn't. Yeah. And I don't trust any of their strikers. I don't know, but yeah, draw.
This is appropriate. Stop the oil and Spurs bribing podcasters. And I've just added that. There you go. Forest Man City. HG.
Man City. 9-0.
That'd be close, yeah. Dave?
Man City 9-1 and Solskjaer will come on 10 minutes ago and score a hat-trick.
Oh, it's going past your window, Dave.
That wasn't me.
That's me that time. That is me. There's a motorbike that have just driven past.
JP?
Man City 7-0, Haaland double hat trick.
Oh, I reckon he'll get rested. They got Champions League next week.
They do, yeah.
I reckon
have got Champions League on Wednesday.
All right, that's the fantasy gamble. Do you captain Haaland? You could get
point.
Pet roulette here.
I reckon 3-0 to City on that one. And next up, we have Lopetegui against... Who is the Bournemouth manager? I can't even remember now.
Well, I don't know.
Gary
O'Neill. Gary O'Neill.
Gary Coleman from Different
Did
Strikes.
they make him the permanent manager?
He's definitely dead, Dave.
What?
Wolves, Bournemouth. I'm going to go 2-0 Wolves.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to go Wolves. I would agree with that. If the Wolves beat Liverpool 3-0, they'll be Bournemouth. I'd be surprised if it isn't. So yeah, Wolves to win.
The footballing county of Hampshire is not having a very good time of it in the Premier League at the moment.
Bournemouth's in Dorset.
Yeah, as I say, Bournemouth's in Dorset.
Is it? You sure about that?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'd like to apologise to the people of Bournemouth and Dorset. And it's time for me. I hope I'm not cancelled by Dorset County Council. I do apologise. The Twitter
put a hit out on you.
The Twitter, Twitter's going on a meltdown already. Lots of pensioners. What's going on? What's the game again? Wolves. Yeah, Wolves will beat Portsmouth. Bournemouth, not Portsmouth. 3-1.
There you go.
Everyone is dead,
JP.
Dave.
Another one of those games I definitely won't watch. 1-0 Wolves.
Okay. Has that shown up here? There we go. Newcastle versus Liverpool is the 5:30 UK time kickoff. This will be. I'm going to go 1-0 to Newcastle. HG.
Liverpool, no doubt.
Oh, it's gone big.
Liverpool. I realise Liverpool aren't great and they only scrape past Everton, but I just, I don't think Newcastle will win. I think the best they can get is a draw, but Liverpool, they'll find a way.
Well, that's probably the best thing for us, isn't it?
No, I want to draw. The best thing for us is a draw because, like, Liverpool have games in hand on
Points
us, and I
again.
don't want them catching us. So I'd like to see a draw, but I think Liverpool will do it.
Okay. Davo?
I think it will be 1-0 Newcastle.
JP?
I'm trying to decide between 2-2 or 1-1. It'll be a draw.
Okay. Good evening, Becky. Nice to see you. You've gone for a 1-1 draw. Craig's gone a Desmond. King's gone a draw. Kerry's going 2-1. Draw. Keith's reliving mid-90s classics with a 3-4.
Collymore.
Yeah. Cantab 0-0, please. Ali is going 2-2. Wonder Boy 3-1. Adrian has gone for a 1-1. Daniel's gone for a 2-1. How many has Salah scored this season? I mean, you could Google it, Kerry, but I'll Google it in a minute if you want me to.
I feel like it's less than Son.
No, he's got more than Son.
Does Pickford have to jump out the way every time Salah scores? Is that how it works? Worst
That was
bit of
baffling, wasn't it?
That goalkeeping says he's bound to sign for Spurs. It was that.
Yeah, I think so.
He's perfect for Spurs, isn't he?
Pickford and Maguire are coming in the summer, along with Brendan Rodgers, holding up the scarf by the side of the pitch. That's what's going to happen.
I'm taking a year off the pod if that happens.
Have a little.
No. I want to do an instant reaction show with you, whatever time of day or night it is in Australia, at the Brendan News Conference. I want to see that, please.
Okay, so Mohamed Salah has got 8 league goals in 21 games, 2 goals in domestic cups in 4 games, and 7 in 6 in the Champions League.
So only the 17 goals this season for Mohamed Salah.
Yeah,
He's not a fantasy.
Yeah, I mean the point that King Hoddle makes here, yeah, Bruno is out. I think it's a suspension, so I think it's the last of his suspension.
3rd game, yeah.
So I know Liverpool's midfield isn't great, but it's better than Newcastle's. If Bruno's not in it, Newcastle's midfield is what Longstaff times 2 and what Joe Linton. Liverpool.
Willock and Joe Linton it'll be, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Willock. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The last game, because we've done the Spurs game already, is Manchester United v the team that smashed us last week, so they're bound to lose, Leicester. What do you reckon, HG?
Is Casemiro? Can he play? Is he suspended? I think he's suspended because he played the Barcelona game, but that doesn't count for the suspension.
I mean, that's a good point. Thursday night football, tough away game they had last night.
They did.
Travelling and all that.
I think Man United are probably going to finish second, and will be Man City's biggest challenger for the title. So I think.
Can I just give you the basic team news I've got up before you give you? Anthony's injured. Casemiro is suspended. Eriksen, as we know, is injured. Martial is apparently injured. McTominay is injured, and Van der Beek is injured. This is called the flash score. It may be incorrect.
So they'll probably keep the same team that did really well in Barcelona. Like I just think Man United, whatever it is they figured it out. If it was playing Luke Shaw at centre back instead of left back, but whatever unit or team they have seems to play quite well no matter who's out. So
it'll be midfielders. It's replacing Casemiro is the problem.
Yeah, I mean, because if McTominay's out as well, then I guess you're struggling. Because it'd be Fred plus what? Fred plus Bruno Fernandes, and yeah, even I'm struggling to think of what Man United players could play. But as good as Leicester were against us, we didn't help things. I think Man United will find a way to win it, and maybe it will be the referees doing what they used to do at Old Trafford. But I think Man United will win.
This is a good point.
How could I forget him?
Yeah,
they like him too, apparently. Yeah,
I think Ten Hag's done a good job at Man United, considering what a clusterfuck it was last season and the last few seasons. But of course, he didn't impress Steve Hitchen and Daniel Levy when he was interviewed for the Tottenham job, so that's all good. So I reckon United will win 2-1.
JP.
United 1-0.
Oh.
I'm going to go 3-2 to United. I think Leicester will score.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think they'll score twice. But I will not be betting on that.
Hence the 3-2.
Absolutely.
Well,
do you see what I did there?
I did.
Right, HG, what were you going to say?
No. I was going to make a sad joke, but I decided against it.
Okay.
Go on.
That's Dave's job.
Go on.
Weghorst as a 10 is causing problems for teams. That's interesting. Be a bit like when
he was at whoever had him last year.
Burnley, but he wasn't playing a 10, was he? He was playing a 9.
Yeah.
It's like when we played Real Madrid in the Bernabeu, and Llorente basically played as a 10, didn't he, in that night? When we got
say that Llorente is a better player than Weghorst. Come on.
Look, I think Weghorst is better than people give him credit for. I think he was better than Burnley, and he shouldn't have gone there anyway. But he always wanted to play in the Premier League, and Burnley were the ones that gave him the opportunity. He's not good enough for Man United, but their games with him in the side, and the same was true with Sabitzer. Like United seem to be winning or doing well, so I think it will continue, and a lot of that has to go to Ten Hag. I mean, Davo's right. Like they spent a lot of money, but they spent it wisely. I mean, and that's just it. I feel that is the key. If you want to improve quickly, you buy players, play often, and they do well. It's not brain surgery when you put it like that, but that's Man City did the same. Arsenal have done the same. If you buy players that work in the system you want to do, your results will improve. Ta-da! I've solved football.
And Weghorst is keeping Kane's place warm in the Old Trafford dressing room next season when the Qataris put in a ridiculous bid that Daniel won't be able to resist.
It'll be fun because Chelsea need a striker, Man United need a striker, right? But who is that striker going to be? I don't know. If Kane doesn't go, I mean I know we're going away from the results thing, but if Kane doesn't go, where are they going to find those strikers? Because in theory, the ones they go for should be the ones that we go for to replace Kane if that was to happen. I think that will be fun this summer.
An interesting stat I sent our group earlier. I was looking at La Liga, and the top 4 scorers in La Liga are all over 30. It does make you wonder where these strikers are going to come from. I mean, Germany isn't Nkunku going to Chelsea? HG, is that a done deal?
But he's not. But he's not a 9. I mean, that's just it.
Is he not? Okay.
No, it's I don't know. Bayern Munich don't have a central striker either. I mean, there are very few around. That are regular goal scorers, and so I guess if they're going to sell, then it'll have to be in the Premier League because no one wants to pay any money. But everyone on the continent seems to be looking for free transfers, and that's what Kane would be next year.
This is a very good point, Craig. Thank you very much. It has been Fernando Llorente has announced his retirement this week. Dave, what are your memories of Llorente in his dodgy hand and hip ball into the goal at Man City?
Well, that is his greatest moment in a Tottenham shirt, obviously, and got us into the next round despite Eriksen's best efforts to give the ball away at the edge of the area. And if I don't mind saying it, a good-looking bloke as well. I think a very good-looking bloke. We paid him over $100,000 a week as backup for Kane, and gazumped Chelsea for once on that. And I think he did the job that he did. I mean, I think he didn't score too many goals in the Premier League. I do remember one he got from a decent cross from Rose on the left-hand side. That's how you play to his strengths. So I think he did a good job for us.
Yeah. So a few memories coming here, JP. We've got the goal against Dortmund at Wembley to make it 3-0, or the knockdown for Moura for the third goal against Ajax. He did score some problems. JP, so you froze there, mate.
Everything came back up. Sorry. Yeah. He was and it came back up. Someone who come on, be a nuisance.
Oh, I lost you for a second. HG, he was biggest problem was he's really slow, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, look, my one Fernando Llorente memory is a goal he scored for Swansea at Anfield. As much as I know he did well for Spurs, and of course you can't forget the hip arm thing but he scored an absolute beauty for Swansea at Liverpool, and I remember watching that live thinking, woof, what a goal. Yeah, it's 37, 38 now, so great career. Thank you, Fernando. And whatever you choose to do, you've got the money to do it, so enjoy yourself.
I mean, this is only true until Gazzaniga retires, obviously, because he's the housewife's favourite. Daniel says last minute when I was at that game, it was 27,000 of us, I think, was at Wembley, and it was freezing, and we really struggled. We got 2 late goals to win it because we just couldn't get past. Watford
Is that
scored
the
a
Danny
goal.
Rose cross where he just kind of lifted it up to the back post, and we finally,
It was Rose or Davis. It was a left back cross, yeah.
I think it was Rose.
Right, okay. And then I remember what our ball boy got a bit argy-bargy with one of the Watford midfielders because he wouldn't give him the ball and they were trying to get an equaliser, which was quite funny. We all cheered, and the guy got a yellow card.
Was he a legend, Dave?
No, the ball boy got away with it.
Was he a legend? Of course he wasn't. Of course he's not a legend. No.
Adrian's got a new business venture there, a new women's perfume, Lorente by Enic. Gracias, Fernando. Oh, of course, we forgot Ginola.
I'm surprised that Enic haven't brought out some merchandise for the announcement of the ending of the rent. I mean, they were quick to get the Kane merchandise out the door, weren't they? Within decent haste.
They clearly had that lined up for a little while, didn't they?
There'll be a DVD on his grave.
No DVDs anymore. It'll be a download, won't it?
Special episode on Spurs play.
You can get it on Levy Vision.
Yeah, indeed. Lorente was class back up to H.
Yes.
Indeed, right. So I think we sort of covered everything. Dave, have I missed anything? Trying to do it off the top of my head and not look at the run sheet.
No, we're not going to be talking about the accounts, so we're all good.
What accounts? What are you talking about?
I don't know. I haven't got my pre-prepared questions.
There was a guy on Twitter going absolutely mad this week that Spurs had hidden stuff in the accounts that just got put on Company's House and delayed them, even though they've been on the Spurs website for a week. He obviously missed that. It was quite funny watching Steve argue with him. Anyway.
There is one thing. Again, it's a Twitter-based thing. I saw one guy who I usually agree with go say like, these people that moan about ticket prices, like if we cut ticket prices by like 40%, it would mean we'd be mid-table, like almost guaranteed. And I was just like, no,
I don't think so.
No, but I get he's annoyed at the moaners, right? And I understand that, but like I moan about ticket prices because I think they are ridiculous. And they don't need to be the prices that they are. And we saw, thanks to the accounts, it's 106 million revenue. Now I realise that's more than just the ticket prices, but still, if you cut off 1/3 of that, whether it's food prices or ticket prices or whatever, and our matchday revenue was only 70-something million a year, so we'd be 30 million down. Oh no, we'd only have 410 instead of 445. I'm okay with that. I don't mind the idea. I would have less revenue for the club if it meant that people could go and not spend a small arm and a leg just to go and see Spurs.
Well, the naming rights would cover a big chunk of that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I just like I do understand the naming. I know something so they know we've got the music venue, we've got the NFL, or NFL, not just 2 games a year NFL. It's just like being able to go and watch the game is what the whole point of being a football fan is. And to take, for a family of 4 or whatever it would be, for it to cost, half a holiday, no, that shouldn't be right in my eyes. So I would happily take less money overall if it meant people could go to the games more. And I don't just mean the crappy games like Bournemouth at home. I mean like every game. There's no need for them to be what they are.
Yeah, I mean this is the point. The club aren't going to change that while games are selling out. Obviously, we have 42,000 season ticket holders, which is a big, over 2/3 of the stadium, so it's a good start. I do agree.
I understand that.
It's expensive,
but it's not about just because we can, I mean we should, right? I mean that's the basic principle. We could probably charge more and sell out those games because it's West Ham and Chelsea, but if the football club is more than just a business, then you would do. You had the fans at any, like, you could take money off the shirts if you wanted to, but they don't. So it just, ticket prices to me seem the one thing that it would buy them goodwill, and that's worth a lot. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but historically, Spurs have always charged high season ticket prices. Always, even back in the 80s, were the most expensive tickets in the country. They really were. And look, I think the reality is that we have to fund the 20 to 25% pay rise that the board got in the accounts, with one named executive getting that pay rise, and that's through season tickets. I don't have a problem with that. Plus the plane as well. So it's all good.
Plane.
The plane.
I thought we weren't going to talk about the accounts, were we?
I wasn't. I just like talking about planes. That's all.
I was just talking about ticket prices. I know you.
So was I.
Yeah.
Back that point.
So
Well, plane ticket prices.
Yeah, I just like talking about ticket prices and private jets. That's all. All good.
Yeah. I mean, there's quite a few plastic fans at Man City. To be fair, they had good gates when they were down in League One, but there are quite a lot of plastic fans, and they don't sell out the Champions League games because their fans have got a big cop on about it. Are they going to stop going to Premier League games when the Premier League do charge them? Have they been charged? Have they actually been charged yet?
Yeah. The 100 counts. Yeah.
So
they're
going to stop going to Premier League games?
Did you see that they put a banner up at the ground? The lawyer that's representing them. There's a picture of the banner. We've now got to the stage where we've got lawyers on banners at football stadiums.
Oh, could have been you, Dave. That law degree, it's gone to waste, isn't it?
I know.
You could have been on an Enic out cheese room banner if you wanted to.
Well, it's the one that's going at the one that's going at the Opera House later on this afternoon after we've turned off that oil pipe. Yeah, busy day.
If you send it to Gibber, he'll put it on the Instagram. Job done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Ali's been watching a while. Andy from Manchester Plastic. No, he's more of an oil man than plastic.
So does that mean he's made of oil if he's plastic? I don't know. No.
He's still angry.
Maybe we should grab Andy to help us with this oil money problem.
Yeah, I think so.
Go digging.
Oil money, that's racist. What oil problem with racists? How dare you say something like that?
Well, don't forget the other guy on there who's the Man City fan. He's from Melbourne. You should seek him out.
He was actually all right. Yeah,
he was all right. Apart from the fact that he was moaning about Sydney spreading COVID to Melbourne, I don't quite understand that. But anyway, we digress, and maybe it's where we should leave it. I've got a busy day ahead of me.
Okay. Well, I've got to do part run tomorrow. The missus wants me to go so she can see what it's like. I don't know why she just doesn't go herself, but yeah.
Are you doing another run this weekend?
I'm doing part run's only 5k, but I might run home afterwards. But next weekend I am doing. We're both doing it. We're doing the Kingley Vale half marathon, which is actually more than a half marathon, and it's over the South Downs. So it's like about 500 meters of up and down over the South Downs.
It's a half marathon plus injury time. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's
how can it be?
It's 22 kilometers as opposed to 21.1 or whatever, and it's up hills.
I've never known a couple who've run as much as you and your missus. I mean, I'm trying to think of famous celebrities who are like a husband and wife who run a lot, and it's impressive.
And of course,
I don't think we're famous. She's not.
Sorry, but the thing is that you can't go on runs together, right? Because one of you's always
generally we can't, no, because of the kids. But the kids are going to my parents on next Saturday.
Okay.
But yeah, it is quite difficult generally. So to manage the children and that. Guys, you haven't picked Sunday's team. We sort of did, Adrian. So Ray Clements in goal, Danny Thomas.
Danny Thomas. Oh, Danny Thomas.
Maxi Miller, Roberts, Chrissy Hugan.
Okay, so let's go for it. It's going to be Perisic left wing back, isn't it? It's going to be Davis or Lenglet, Davo.
Well, it should be, as I say, Longley for Europe, Davis for Premier League, so it should be Davis.
Okay, so Dier in the middle, JP?
Yep.
Yeah, Romero and wing back HG is going to be who? Who's
I want
actually
Porro to play. Who's going to? I think Emerson will, but I want it to be Porro. But I think Emerson will play.
I think we've all agreed it's going to be Hojbjerg and Sarr. Everyone in agreement with that?
It's not much choice.
I think they'll pick Skipp. I do.
Really?
But I want to see Sarr, but I think they'll pick Skipp.
I agree.
I want to see Skipp and Sarr.
Oh, don't let Gibbo hear you say that. He loves old Pierre-Emile.
Not because
Pierre-Emile
Gibbo. I just want to see them play again.
Mm. Yeah, so do I.
And then, okay, give me your front three that will start, HG.
With the same three we've seen. But they went
forever.
Much. Yeah.
Forever. Any JP?
That will start the same three.
Okay, Dave?
Same three.
Job done then. There we go, Adrian. He's also said if we stop the oil, Troy or he's screwed.
Yeah.
Don't tell Kerry that. Kerry loves Troy Already.
Kane, Rico, and Decky. Choose our push. KKS.
Yeah.
Kane, Kulusevski, Son. Kulusevski, well, not Kane on the right, though. Flappy Hands will play.
He will indeed.
What, is Hugo fit again?
Well, Fabianski, surely.
Oh, you know he'll have a worldie now, don't you?
Yeah.
Probably.
It'll be that keeper that has a complete worldie.
Correct.
There's always one, and it's always against Spurs.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. So there'll be a pod, hopefully out Sunday evening. They still haven't done the one from the... Franco got back late from his holiday, and I think because the game was awful, he had no real inclination to do it. So there'll be a pod on Sunday evening. We'll be back Monday at 9:00. There'll be another Wednesday show with Craig and Gibbo, and we'll be back again next Friday. And if we win excitingly on Sunday, because we always play such exciting football, we might do something ad hoc. You never know.
And if Conte leaves during the week, we may have an instant reaction show.
We'll probably do something, definitely. But I don't think Conte will be leaving for a couple of weeks. I think he'll be on sick leave for a little while. Thank you very much, Kerry.
Thank you, Kerry.
HG, thank you for joining us.
No, you're welcome. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's always a good way to start the weekend.
Yeah. JP, thanks for getting out of bed and all that malarkey.
Just about got here, but thanks for everyone joining us today. It's been good having a laugh and a chat with you. Pick up my shovel, ready for a big afternoon.
Stop the oil. Yes.
Stop the oil.
The Cheese Room's Enic out chairman protest man, Davo. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me on. I was a bit daunted by the great job Jack did on the account show during the week, but thanks for having me again.
Do you think Jack was good, do you?
He was excellent.
Thank you very much. So, yes, although there was an account show on Wednesday, you can catch up on that. If you want more chat about the AC Milan game, if you want to relive it, HG and James were here on Tuesday. Just have a look at our listings. They are all there. And on that note, I'm going to say, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
There we go.
Come on, you Spurs.